Hi, I'm Clinton.
I'm Claude, and we're the lamest offenders.
And on this week's We've Got Issues, Powers of X is just as confusing as ever. Moon Knight returns with his first annual since last year. And Claude reviews a couple Spider-Man titles.
Just like every week.
Okay, so Powers of X, House of X is more of the narrative comic book so far.
The better book.
I feel, yeah, I fully agree with that. A lot more has happened in House of X, but Powers of X is still very relevant. It kind of gives you more. It gives you more of a backstory. This issue featured Mr. Sinister pretty heavily in the beginning, and it was actually hilarious. It was really funny.
Awesome.
He was just this weird ruler of clones of himself. So he had no problem just killing off clones of himself. And he has this great interaction with Magneto where he just praises his cape.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
It was hilarious. It was actually, it's almost worth it just for that.
Okay.
Just for those 3 pages. It's worth it for that. It also, Xavier and Magneto ask Sinister about his gene bank, his mutant gene bank. Like, okay, we want to store certain mutants with you, like, so I have a
like
feeling,
the first Jurassic Park, they're all in like shaving cream cans.
Pretty
or
much, yeah. So they're all covered in amber. But it was, I feel like this is going to tie back into House of X.
Okay.
Because at the end of House of X,
Spoilers,
something really bad happened to the X-Men. So it was, they're going to need replacements.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
Right.
So I feel like that might be where they're getting this extra DNA.
Cool.
Like, so, just like Star Wars, no one's really gone or something like that. Whatever the tagline was for that. But it also shows that Xavier is really thinking ahead on this, and it's kind of dastardly.
Yeah, he seems totally different.
He's planning this out so well.
Yeah.
It's like I really think he is, like we talked before, I think he's a supervillain now. Like, he's slowly just going to that point where it's like, nope, we're not doing this anymore. We're not playing nice anymore.
Yeah. Well, they've been doing it for how long? Like 50 years already. They're kind of, I don't blame them almost.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's a new direction, and I'm all for it. It's great. I love it. It also shows the beginning of Krakoa with Xavier and Cypher basically figuring out how to speak with the island.
Okay.
There's this really weird scene with something that looks like the Deku tree from Legend of Zelda.
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time is just kind of like, okay, whatever.
Okay,
comics. I'm not questioning it at this point.
It's just an island from Lost or something.
Yeah,
they're trying to communicate
like
with
a polar bear shows up.
The smoke.
Yeah, and also at the end with a 1,000-year time jump, which I know this is going to be a huge payoff, but he's kind of running out of time to make this payoff, basically. And it's 1,000 years in the future, and it involves the Phalanx, and it's bizarre. Like, it's become this religion, and they're like assimilating people, kind of like the Borg from Star Trek kind of thing. So
no idea.
I know you don't get it.
Star Wars, baby.
Yeah, and so
J.J. Abrams.
Yeah. So it's definitely, I don't know where this is going with that. Like, that's the one part where it's just like, the rest of it is great and it's awesome and it's world building and it's really fleshing this stuff out, but it's like, this has got to pay off somehow, and it's not yet, and it's starting to frustrate me in that sense.
Well, plus you're paying like $5 a week?
Yeah, $5
for the last 8 weeks now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the House of X just being so much better, it's not like this is a different creative team. It's Jonathan Hickman. He's writing this entire thing. So it's like, just stop this.
So, I mean, would you recommend this?
Oh, I totally buy it. Yeah, just get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're already this far
you're
along,
already this deep, you might just keep it going. You just got to see it through at this point.
So for my first comic for this week, it was Venom number 18. So this is a direct tie-in to the Absolute Carnage event. Basically, it picks up exactly where Absolute Carnage number 2
Cool. Okay.
Left off. So this is probably a must-read if you're reading the entire event, which has been excellent.
Yeah.
So I can't really give away a certain character in it. He plays a very pivotal role, and he is connected to Eddie Brock very closely. But basically, they're doing tests on these symbiotes because they're trying to get rid of... So these symbiotes, the future... Oh, God, what is it called? The symbiote...
Foundation? The Foundation?
Yeah,
Foundation?
Life Foundation or something like that.
Yeah.
They're doing... So they do experiments on symbiotes, and these symbiotes have infected basically innocent people. So with the Absolute Carnage event, there's a codex launched into pretty much every person that's ever had a symbiote on them. Mm-hmm. And you have these innocent people, and the ultimate version of Mr. Fantastic is trying to remove that safely without killing them.
Okay.
And so there's another character that is basically, it's Harry Osborn's son, Normie Osborn, which I wouldn't, he's a normie. Yes, it's pretty good. So I don't know why
That's what they mean.
Which I wouldn't really understand why they, Harry Osborn, he despises his dad. So why would you name a character after?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's Normie.
That's an amazing name.
So in Dan Slott's Amazing Spider-Man comic line, the final conclusion of that whole storyline was basically it was a Red Goblin. So Norman Osborn had the Carnage symbiote. And he infected Normie. Yeah. So you have this, 8-year-old little Red Goblin running around, causing mischief. Yeah. So, but he's an innocent guy. So they're trying to remove that from him. And there's an issue that we had with the last House of X, where you have such a crazy event happening, and it only involves maybe, for House of X, only the X-Men, where you would think the Avengers or Spider-Man, somebody would help them out and solve this. Yeah. So it ends with, our solution to that, where you get more superheroes involved. So without spoiling who it is, they jump to help. At the very last page is some superheroes, you probably know.
About time.
Yeah, finally. Nice. So, I would say definitely pick this up if you're reading the Absolute Carnage event right now. Probably skip it if you're skipping that event, because you'll have no idea what's going on.
So the second issue I purchased this week was Moon Knight, the Moon Knight annual, #1. He hasn't been around for a while. Moon Knight, his last run ended last year. And that's one of the things I really love about this character, is that Marvel has a plan for him, or the writer, whoever they hire. Yeah. Is like, okay, I need 8 to 16 issues, maybe 12. Okay. And then they do it. And then he has to run, and he's done. I love that. It's not, because it's only 200 issues he's had out of being out since the 70s. Yeah. So that's great. I love it. This one starts with Khonshu's, the moon god. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But
I thought you said Kung Fu shoes. Yeah. So nice.
Well, if the Kung Fu shoe fits.
Boom.
But his artifacts can control and manipulate time.
Okay.
In that sense. And Kang the Conqueror shows up and wants to use them to help amplify his powers and just basically manipulate time to his liking. And then he's the conqueror. So the best part about this is that as Moon Knight is going through time to fix timelines, we see different variations of Moon Knight. One is as an Old West fighter. One is a Roman gladiator. One is a Revolutionary War soldier, which is probably my favorite. And then, it's just there's so many of them, and they all culminate at the end. It's awesome. It's so much fun. I really loved it. I have a feeling this is going to be him jumping through time is going to be the basis for his next series coming out. Okay. I think it starts at the end of this year.
Yeah,
starts next year, at the very beginning.
If it worked out for this one, they probably should.
It was good. It was charming. It was funny in parts. I loved it. I'm just a big Moon Knight fan, though. Mm-hmm. So if you're not actually, you know what? I would say get this. It's a great introduction to the character.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay, wow. So my last comic for this week was another Spider-Man related title. This one is the main Amazing Spider-Man line. It's issue number 29. If you guys have been watching or at least what I had to say about the last couple Amazing Spider-Man comics, I haven't been a fan. I thought it was kind of dragging its feet in terms of teasing us a storyline and then just not delivering at all. That all changed with this one. It's a completely new story. It seems like they're actually pushing it forward.
So he's been watching the show.
He has.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks, Nick. And so this one really involves the chameleon for the main villain, which is really cool. It kind of goes back into S.H.I.E.L.D. has been shut down for a while.
Okay.
So, but with all that being said, it's a Spider-Man book because it's Peter Parker dealing with that struggle between being Spider-Man and living his normal life with Mary Jane. And basically, there's some really cool classic Spider-Man moments in it. What wasn't really cool was them introducing or reintroducing a character that I've hated since they've basically just made her up from thin air, which is, most people don't know this, but Peter Parker has a sister. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know this until I read it whenever, I think it was 2018, and it was in Chip Zdarsky's Spectacular Spider-Man, which that book is god-awful. And so I remember seeing her for the first time in there. She's basically, been trained by S.H.I.E.L.D., and she's like the lamer version of Falcon.
Now, lamer in a good way?
No, this is bad. I should stop using... Yeah.
We like to embrace that.
Right. No, this is not... Don't embrace this character. If you don't know anything about her, just really... I think for your entertainment purposes, go to the Marvel wiki and just read her backstory, because it's the most convoluted, stupid thing you'll ever read, and that's in a comic book.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she's bad, but she's in it. That didn't sour my overall view of the book, because it seems like Nick Spencer's finally grasping what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man, and that's to focus on Peter Parker, because the last couple issues, he really hasn't been in it. Yeah. So, really, with that being said, I think this is... Hopefully they continue what this book does, because they shouldn't backtrack anymore. Really, I wouldn't even be offended if they gave up this new villain they've been teasing, which just seems like Scarecrow from Batman anyway, and then Kingpin's storyline, which they didn't even address whatsoever in this one. Okay. So I wouldn't be mad if they just stopped with that, because it's getting ridiculous. But I would say just pick this one up if... just go for it.
Well, that's pretty much all. Mm-hmm. It was a busy week. There were actually a ton of titles we couldn't get to. But it was actually a pretty awesome week for Marvel Comics. There was a lot of stuff. So
we didn't, and there hasn't been a bad one this week so far.
I was impressed.
But anyway, thanks for watching, guys.
Stay lame.
Bye.